Sometimes like people are like, I hated that she wanted to control me and blah 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 blah. Like she's still fucking controlling me, like that hasn't gone away, and that's very much so maybe a you thing.
Thanks for your concern. Welcome back to Thanks for Your Concern. You're here with Ella.
And then Berenice say,
What's up? What's goody?
what's goody over here? Goody is I'm about to have a little vendor market moment at this. I mean, I will already have done it by the time this episode comes out, but I'm doing the Her Takeover. There's two collectives right now in New York. Well, there's a lot of collectives in New York, and I will say that's one of
Collectives,
the.
we love it.
We love a good collective, but these are like EDM ones and like more bass community ones, which I feel like it needs. Plur Labs and the Trigger Collective, they have been throwing like all women. They're throwing an all women show. They had like a DJ contest last week. And then this week they're having a bigger show and they're gonna have vendors and Cozy Q. It's at the Crown, which is like this rooftop in New York. It's really nice actually. So I'm excited because like she's giving bougie face event for the girls and I am with it. So I'm about to be a vendor there. And last time I did it for that event, I had a lot of fun. They're like smaller, very like community based events. So I feel like it brings the right people in, like the people that just come up to you and will like strike a conversation. I felt like I left there with friends, which sometimes can be hard. So I'm really excited for that. That's what we're looking forward to, and that's what we're getting ready for this week. What about you?
As you guys all know, I've been building a YouTube channel. All right, go subscribe to my YouTube. And honestly, it's been very fun. I have been very much pushing myself, and it's like a good push, okay? A 6-month sprint can like change the trajectory.
Okay.
Like it's like 6 months can be hard. You could be doing a lot, you could be making a lot of moves, but like where are you going to be in a year, 5 years if you do the 6 months? Just keep going until you make it. There's really not a timeline. Just keep going. Like
Just keep fucking swimming, baby.
Just keep swimming. Oh, this is the quote I heard this week that I've been very living by. The shortcut is the long route, and the long route is the shortcut.
Okay.
As in, like, if you're trying to cut corners, you're trying to get there as quickly as possible, it's going to end up taking you longer than if you just did, like, the long, consistent plan.
I see what you mean.
Like, you can't really cut corners. And if you do cut corners, what are going to be the results?
I'm with that. I think any sort of hustle is like a good opportunity for growth in general. I feel like you're never going to get there if you don't actually put continuity into anything. I feel it. And I'm here for it. I'm ready for the videos. My dad is very much on your same trajectory. Been making, I think he started a podcast. He's also like making YouTube like travel videos, and I'm like, let's go.
Honestly, it's very fun. It's a different skill set because like the podcast is visual, but it's not as visual. And maybe we're gonna change that. Who knows? But it's a lot of work to compile so many elements. But I am getting to my goal, which is like filmmaking. Like that's why I started this, is because it's like there is like the same foundational knowledge needed to like edit a long form video and edit a movie or a short. Yeah. Anyways, you guys know my handle is the same thing on everything. Ella L Tutor. I will say it is a little. I mean, it's always been scary, but I was like, literally, sometimes I'm like, why the fuck do I use my full ass government name that I use at work for videos and for podcasting? I don't say anything outrageous, but it's just like people look up me at work, because they're like, oh, what's this girl about? And then they don't get anything but like my personality, like my personal brand.
Yeah.
Maybe that wasn't the best idea, but like I'm leaning full into it and I literally do not give a fuck. I'm not doing anything controversial, so it doesn't really matter. But I do just find that hilarious, like that I have no stage name. It's Ella Tutor everywhere, okay? The brand continuity is branding.
Period. I think that came about because we were really young when social media started. So it's like no one knew where this was gonna go. I always kept mine because I was like, this is being in an office is not the long term goal ever. So I was like, fine it, whatever. But I do believe that sometimes that does backfire on you based on just like who's watching. Because I had some coworkers that were just like cool, and then I had some coworkers that were lurkers, and I do believe that sometimes people don't like it when you have things going on outside of that.
If you're a fucking loser and an op, I understand their point of view, which is how the fuck is this bitch have time to do this? As like, I make time, baby. The time is being made. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and they're like, "I don't think your passion is here." And I'm like, "How do you know that?"
Do I complain on social media about my job? How do you know?
No, they're
I
just like,
would
You're
never.
really creative." And I'm like, "How do you know that?" Because I never Yeah, "How do you see your career goals aligning here?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? I haven't told you anything about my other career goals."
You're just like, damn, I just be lying. Like, I'm gonna be here forever, and I'm gonna be. Honestly, I don't see myself quitting my job like for a very long time. But people who like quit their job when they blow up on one video seems fucking nuts to me. I love the commitment, but I feel like I would be so fucking stressed out. I need a runway,
You need to run.
a long runway.
You need a little bit of a plan. I don't think you should bank on social media because that's really unpredictable. I think you need something else that is a little bit more substantial. I think that you can aspire to make content. I don't think like you should put all your eggs on social media. I think content looks different. You like making videos and you generally enjoy doing that. Like you can sign up for jobs that make content for things. You can be in the realm while still pursuing something that's a little bit more of like a part-time gig. Look for options before you fully commit to the bit.
Commit to the bit, babes. If it's not about committing to the bit. You guys, we have such a fun episode. We're talking about things that are slept on. The sleepies.
So sleepies. I've slept on a few things in life, but I will say like things I do believe you shouldn't sleep on. Living on your own or like away from home for some time of period in your life.
You guys know I'm moving in this summertime for realsies. Like it's actually it's not scary, it's just more like I am in between literally getting rid of everything that I fucking own and starting over, but that like financially might not be the best decision, but we'll see. But I'm getting rid of like 90% of my things, right? And I'm living on my own, and I think a lot of my I don't know why, but like my guy friends are like, "Oh, you're not going to move in with your boyfriend?" And I'm like, "No." And they think it's like about the relationship, but it's like, babes, first of all, if forever is forever, I don't understand why living on my own for 2 years really matters. But I do feel like I would really regret not living on my own, not having my own space, not having a Barbie apartment. This is Barbie's dream house, not Ken's dream house. Because when Barbie moves in with Ken, she's got to make some compromises just because that's what you have to do in a partnership. You have to make compromises. And I refuse to make compromises before I've authentically lived on my own.
Period. Not gonna lie, it's been Bernice's house for a long time. I've had roommates come and go, but I've always
Yeah.
chosen my journey. You're right. You do have to make compromises. My boyfriend came with a lot of gear, and I was like, "Oh, where are you gonna put that?"
Yuck! At no fault of my boyfriend's, I have been living with a boy for 5 years, and the
That's enough.
no. Berenice comes into my house and goes, "Wow, there's a lot of knickknacks." And literally, my roommate talks about it to this day about like how fucking booty hurt he was in the moment to hear his like treasured belongings called knickknacks. But at the end of the day, they are fucking
They're
knickknacks,
knickknacks.
you know? And I want to live knickknack free.
I liked a trinket here and there. Like I do love a knickknack. That just makes it a lot harder to clean spaces. Like when you have open, clean spaces, way easier to put a little wipey over. When there's a
I
lot of
know.
shit on it, you have to take it off so you can clean it.
So it never gets clean.
Exactly.
And so I've been watching Legos collect dust, and it's fucking irritated me to an inch of my existence. So yeah, don't sleep on living alone. And I will always say one more fucking thing about living alone. Times are tough. The economy's tough. I feel like I've never heard someone say they regret living alone, but I have heard people say they regret moving in with a significant other. So you know what? I think there's just always value to waiting.
Yeah. And if you don't have like a circumstances to like live alone, I don't even mean like live alone. I just think like living away from your family is
Yeah.
just like what a powerful growth tool. I think that you become a really different person when you have separation from your family because a lot
Mhm.
obviously like a lot of the ideals that you have everything is tied to how you were raised, to who they are. And when you take a step back in a way, you kind of can reflect a lot on like how you were raised, what things you want to carry forward, what things you don't. Where like a really heavy influence by having your family close. I don't want to seem like that's a dooming thing, but like it, you just are different when that happens. Once you have a little bit of that like separation, that's where things become a little bit more evident of just
It's also those little things of like realizing you have the power to live differently. And this might be like not this is like the best example I have. I personally I leave dishes in the sink till the end of the night and then I usually do all the dishes at once, you know? Because it makes more sense to me. It's just like I'm running through the day, like put the dish in the sink and then at the end of the night put it away or put in the dishwasher or whatever. That makes more sense to me. That's not how my mama runs her household. Okay. I realize I don't have to run my household like I run my mom's household. And it made me think about this quote in Pride and Prejudice where this woman's like, Elizabeth, it is such a pleasure running my own household. And I think about that because it is really just a pleasure to make your own decisions and decide like if you want to do more or less of something or what choices you want to make when it comes to how you live.
I agree. I think the farther I get from my parents, I realize how much I enjoy the way that they do things. Sometimes I'm
Yeah.
like, oh God, somebody needs to be in charge here.
you you come full circle, right? You're
Yeah.
like, maybe I'm a little too loosey goosey. I need a little bit more, you know?
Structure, yeah.
Yeah.
You realize that. I truly believe, and that has brought me closer to my family is
Mhm.
by taking some separation, having some step back, really owning, I guess, like who I am, ownership of my own household and schedule and whatever, and then seeing the ways that what they did really served me and being like, oh, I actually really need those things. They were like really fundamental to my life.
Yep.
But see, maybe I wouldn't have realized and have held a little bit more angst had I not taken a step away. And I see that with a lot of people, to be honest with you. They resent a lot of things that they choose to hold on to rather than like, you can just like move away for a little bit and just like live your own life and have your own space to be who you want to be. That's not tied to somebody else's identity.
One of my sleepies that reminded me of is like I feel like people sleep on forgiveness, man. Sometimes
Yeah.
the older I get, like the more I like kind of let go of some resentment towards my parents and towards myself, honestly. I sometimes you got to forgive yourself cuz like shaming yourself for decisions you made when you honestly thought you were making the best possible decision, it really doesn't help anybody. And so like I've been forgiving my parents on things just because it's like, you know what, they tried their best. They thought that that was the best decision for me. And honestly, I can understand their perspective. They had no idea how that was gonna like how the cards were gonna fall on that. I think specifically, like I was like just so resentful. I'm like, I don't know why the fuck you just like forced me to like be around these white like these rich white people, you know? Like I really mean that. Like my parents, first of all, I mean, they'll tell you like they very purposefully like really wanted me to be like influenced by like affluent families, but it really just made me feel really lonely. Should I forgive them for that? Like, did it ruin my life? Absolutely not. And why did they do it? Because they thought it was best at the time. Yeah, I'm gonna forgive them for that. I'm gonna forgive myself for not trying hard enough my senior year and letting my grades slip. A lot of shit was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and oh, everything could be different. Sure, but like the butterfly effect of like what else would have happened?
Is it forgiving or is it letting go? Like, is forgiving just truly letting go? Maybe they're one and the same.
My therapist told me that forgiveness was letting go of the idea that things could be different. And that's all forgiveness is. It's saying like, you know, letting go of this idea that like, oh, things could be different. Well, why don't you let it go? Because it could be different, but it's like they're not.
I think for me, forgiveness comes with another opportunity. And I don't know if I do that, but I am a fan of don't sleep on letting go. I think that that's important.
Mm-hmm.
If you carry all that shit with you, it will have power over you. It truly is. Like sometimes I see people who like carry things their significant others did to them,
Mm.
or even people they're not with anymore. And I'm like, why are you letting that like have an effect on you still?
It's tough.
It is tough. I don't know. Sometimes like people are like, I hated that she wanted to control me and blah 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 blah. I'm like, she's still fucking controlling me. That
Yeah.
hasn't gone away, and that's very much so like maybe a you thing. I've been watching Good Morning, the Good Morning show. It's like on Apple TV, and there's a quote from there that I really liked, and it's this woman that's talking about like, yeah, what happened to like young you is really fucked up, but what's happening to adult you now that you have like the tools to get therapy and like process, basically taking ownership of your shit that is your responsibility, that goes along with letting go. These things already happened to you. Now it's like kind of on you to see how you can let those things go.
How you want to live your life.
Yeah, because carrying all of that is just so dark. It makes you so negative. I see people that carry around a lot of resentment. It makes people a little bit more jaded and negative when you're talking to them. I'm like, "Ew." That quote, "Who hurt you?"
Yeah. Oh, what a classic.
Yeah.
This is a running it back, but the first time we heard Who Hurt You, we were dude, this was like
It's my birthday.
I always know, was it rock bottom? Was my foot in a boot? It was rock bottom. You know, that was the rock actually, it wasn't even rock bottom. It was one of the rock bottoms. You know, life
Yeah.
goes highs and lows. And me and Berenice are like complaining about like what these like we're like, we can't trust men, da 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 da. Men are fucking terrible. And we're just like going off and like our friend just goes, "Who hurt you?" And we were in that moment, I swear to God, it was like getting like like a ice bath. I was like, "Damn, bro, I do be talking kind of crazy because of someone that hurt me. Maybe I need to look at this."
And you know what? In all of those instances, we were hurting ourselves because we put
Yep.
ourselves in some predicaments that truly we didn't have to be in. Okay.
I can't believe like how much of my life I could have improved if I had just ignored text messages and phone calls. I was responding. Like, can I believe that? Like I was participating in my own misery because I was picking up the phone.
Yeah.
Where are you? I'm at home. Yeah, come over. What?
You know, you live and you learn, man.
I'll forgive myself for not letting that voice go to voicemail for the fucking fifth time, okay?
Well, we can only act true to ourselves at the time that we were at, but you do learn a lot of things from that. Like Loki, I feel like my pattern recognition is just like complex PTSD because I've been in so many like bad situations that I'm just like I can spot one when I see one.
Yeah. And that's why sometimes I have such a hard time. "Do you like my new boyfriend?" It's like, "Ugh, he reminds me of someone I really don't like, but he hasn't done anything specifically except for exactly what that person did in the beginning of our relationship, but I can't really tell you that because it seems kind of fucking crazy. So I'll just shut the
Yeah.
fuck up and let you figure it out."
Yeah. And as people were telling me when I was in a bad situation and I didn't quite like listen, I wasn't ready to like really grasp that information. You can't sleep on a good journey, a dolo journey. But I see my friends going on that when they're like going through a breakup and they're just like going out and like posting like self love quotes. And I was like, been there, done that. And I feel like you can skip over a little bit of the cringiness that comes after a breakup.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
I sometimes feel like you need to document that shit so that you don't end up back in that type of relationship. You know, like if you like quietly heal, I feel like you're more likely to like repeat it versus like, oh my God, I remember like how I had to fucking come out on the internet about how terrible that relationship was and how better I feel. Like I can't do this again.
It's accountability, baby. Like it
Yeah.
truly. I was like, damn. I've seen that when girls like really post about it and then they go back to it, and I'm like, yeah, like she really laps. But like, you know, it's kind of it's a very similar thing. Okay, you go back to a
Mhm.
bad situation, maybe thinking it won't be so bad. It is just as bad. Really do a good comeback journey. I have friends going, they're running half marathons. I have other
Mhm.
ones like going to shows alone. Been there, done that. Do it big. I truly believe that the bigger your glow up after a breakup, like the more likely you are to stay out of that relationship again.
Dude, I feel like like talking about like marathons and all that jazz. Doing the anti-depression tips are kind of slept on. Like I really hate being that person. It's like when you're talking to someone and you're just like, "Have you thought about going on a walk?" It feels so cringe when it's like, "Babes, have you thought about walking? Have you thought about having a bedtime. I think a lot of people sleep on a bedtime, okay? It feels so cringy to be like, I go to the bed at the same time every day. At least for me, like, I don't know why. Who am I? How old am I that I have a bedtime? Dude, you know, your bedtime can be like 1 a.m., but like, you should really try to go to bed at a consistent time. Having a bedtime, walking, working out, and fueling my body appropriately has really made big leaps and bounds in how I feel. And I feel like it's so slept on and it feels so unattainable because I know when you're like not feeling good, doing things that feel good seem impossible. But it's just slept on because it seems so basic and like, oh, really? Is working out gonna make me feel better? Yeah, it's a great coping skill, like unfortunato.
I agree. I always tell the people with the depressies or trying to get like some sort of a structured routine, anything, I'm like, start running. And they're like, but I don't like running. And I'm like, well, I don't either, girl. But like, it's gonna change your life.
It's a low key, like, a walk or a run, 10 out of 10 coping skill. Healthy coping skills are also slept on. Unfortunately, a lot of people's parents don't give them great coping skills. I realize this just because, like, I don't even think coping skills was, like, in my parents' generational mind. But now I'm
Hmm.
seeing, like, gentle parents, like, give their kids coping skills. A lot of us have bad coping skills or no coping skills at all. We gotta fucking build those up. Look up coping skills so that when you're, like, literally about to crash out, we gotta go to our little Rolodex, our menu of coping, and figure out something that's like happy and healthy.
A lot of like crashing out, and I think like toxic behavior, at least for myself, and why I always say like don't sleep on going on runs, is because I used to just like be very self destructive and not in like a huge way. Like I wouldn't
Yeah.
full on like ruin my life, but I would do things kind of hinted at that. And it would start with like small little things like wanting to drink and then over drinking and being hungover all day when I know I had like other things that I felt excited about, and it honestly just gave me anxiety. But the thing is, I would continue to do it because I was being self-destructive. And then I started just like entertaining situations that really I wasn't really about, but they were like distractions and little things just to like not check in with myself about maybe some things that I was experiencing. Sometimes running from your feelings because you can't really name the feeling when it's present. Okay. It takes a little bit of time to really go through a situation and figure out what the fuck is the issue. That's what I would start doing. I would just start doing little things that I was like not doing the things that I needed to do. And then the thing is, like, it just ends up stressing me out even more until like a point where I'm like really spiraling. So now I'm an adult, I'm almost 30 years old, and I can see when I start to do that. And I just decided to go on a run. And then I came back, I started journaling, and I had a good cry.
Yeah.
And truly, I think like I would have gotten to the cry if I had continued my spot, like to do self destructive things in like 2 weeks rather than like a day where I was like, you probably just like need a release and you need to sit with your feelings for a second. And I don't think that's like a 1 day thing. I think that's like a continuous practice because obviously there's something like maybe I'm going through that I'm not like quite realizing where I want to be yet, but I'm just acting like sometimes I always think about babies because I mean, you know how babies are fuzzy when they're like frustrated because they can't fucking speak when they want
Yeah.
something. So sometimes I feel like that when I'm like, I'm acting out. I feel like a baby.
Yeah, sometimes you have to like gentle parent yourself. Let's figure out what we need in this moment and what's like gonna get us there actually. Because sometimes you should do the opposite. Like if whatever you're doing is not working for you, what is the opposite? And so for me, sometimes it's like I want to isolate, I want to be alone, I don't want to fucking talk to anybody. What I really need is actually connection. And the opposite would be phoning a friend. And the same thing where it's like I don't want to do anything, I just want to lay in my bed all day. What should I do? I should probably get up out of bed and go for a walk. That's the opposite of what like and what's gonna get me there. Because it's like, what does lying in bed give me? It gives me kind of like decompression. I am shutting off my brain. I'm avoiding things. You can do that in a different way that's like better.
That is very true. So don't sleep on doing the opposite of what you feel like you want to do in that moment. Usually what you should do. I think
Yeah.
conversations, there's so many things that like my first response is, I don't want to do that. Like having a hard conversation with a friend sometimes, where you're like, oh, I have things I don't feel great about in this. And I feel like if we have a conversation where I have to voice that out, I don't love that.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. And sometimes those are the things that you have to do to make that better.
Mhm.
Things I don't think you should sleep on is like AI helping you do things.
Yep.
I got AI negotiating with my landlord for me. Okay. I'm like, why do I want to sit here craft an email that I know ChatGPT could do better for me? It is help.
There is like dangers to ChatGPT. There's dangers to AI, but that is like with any new adoption of technology. What I am seeing is that women are way more aware of the dangers, thus rejecting the technology. And what I don't want to see happen is that we have this like gender wage gap that's widened by AI, or like a who's using technology that's going to help them go further in life, and it's like men are adopting it because they don't give a fuck and they're seeing how much it's helpful for them personally. And I do think that there is dangers of AI, but I want women to be in the room where like AI governance is happening.
Yes.
And you don't do that by ignoring it like it's not going to happen. It's happening.
I think it can be really useful. I always feel
Yes.
like full rejection of something is not the way to go. Okay. And I see that with thinking. I see that with social movements. You want to be on the right side of history? Let's give it the benefit of the doubt
Yeah.
of new things when they come out. Okay, because maybe one day you'll look back and be like, wow, I'm really against these like new things and topics that are coming out when maybe you used to be a little bit more progressive growing up. And I can start with just like maybe seeing how things can benefit your life, new things in general. With AI, I mean, it can do whatever you want it to do. It could like automated responses if you have a small business. I
Yeah.
have found that really helpful. If you like structure and need somebody to put together things for you, you can name the tasks that you have to do. It will give you a good checklist, something you can print. It can really magnify your ideas as a creative. Sometimes you don't have time to say and put it down into paper, but you can literally spit it into existence in there and it will come out with like a visual or something where you can start from. Like,
Yeah.
I like that about AI is the fact that like it can be an aid rather than like something to replace. Like I feel like if you learn how to use it to your advantage early, it might be something you want to look into.
Life is very difficult. We only have so many hours in the day. And to me, I would prefer to use AI than to like underpay a worker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't do it all. So,
Yeah,
where in
truly.
I just can't. So it's like, where in my business am I utilizing it so that I can actually do the hard work, or like the not the hard work,
Mhm.
but just fill in the backups, because I don't think I could without AI like do the podcast, start a YouTube, and do my job. Like I just
Yeah.
don't think it would be possible. And so it's like, what do I want to say? Not use AI and then not be able to achieve everything I want to achieve. That doesn't make sense. It is a thought loop in the way that I don't think we should be utilizing it for mental health. I don't think that's the best use of it, just because I don't think it's not a human. So you should not treat it like a human. I don't want people to not use AI in place of critically thinking. I think there's some times when a fucking journal and not machine is going to be best. That's something I really want people to still journal, to still do things by hand. Don't completely rely on AI to make your decisions, because your chatbot doesn't have to live with your decisions, right? So be careful, I would say. Know the risks of that you're living in this reality.
Oh yeah. I definitely like it more as like a business creative
Me too.
tool than like a life tool. I think like what a beautiful journey it is to figure shit out on your own.
Mhm.
But all the other things is like, yeah.
It's like, don't underestimate your ability to think for yourself. Like, do you really need this tool to figure out the pros and cons of your friendship or relationship? Like, do you need it to figure out like whether you should go no contact with your mother? Probably not. You know, you could do that on your own. But when it is a great business tool,
Period.
you should really look into automating parts of your job that you don't fucking like and make your job easier. So use it in your life. I
I
use it
agree.
to read my emails and create a to-do list so that I basically don't have to read my emails.
No, that's
Do I need to do something? Okay, then do that. But a lot of shit's bullshit that people just want to make sure you're looped in on. Have AI summarize it. Duh. So what you do is send me an 8-page long email that I don't actually need to know. Come on, high level. What is this about?
exactly.
All right, you guys. I think those are all of my sleepies, but don't sleep on last one. Don't sleep on calling your parents, calling your grandparents, and calling your aunts and uncles. People age, and honestly, calling your cousins. You never know, dog. Like shit's crazy out here. But I've been having a lot of family loss lately, and it's like it just is what it is. So don't sleep on calling your loved ones.
Or even just saying, hey, I just thought of you today. I hope you
Yeah.
have a good day. Goes a long way. Thanks for listening. As always, please subscribe to our Instagram and YouTube and all those fun things. At Instagram, we're like, thanks number 4 your concern.
And I'm at Ella L Tutor.
I'm at Berenice and Ella.
Like, subscribe, send it to a friend. We love you. Bye.